Hello everyone! Today I got a couple of SEGA handhelds to show you. But they're not the Game Gear or the Nomad or anything, these are Pocket Boys. And they are official SEGA handhelds, you're going to see that. And, officially licensed to this company. And I think the company's name is pronounced Hashitopin? I don't know, it could be Hashitopin. They're a Japanese company, so I have no clue how you correctly pronounce it. And but these are officially licensed by SEGA. You can even see on the back it says licensed by SEGA right here. It has SEGA all over it. But curiously, it also has Pac-Man on there for some reason. Let me see if it'll focus in on that. There we go, finally. And I guess that's maybe like a warning to keep out of reach of children, maybe, small parts or something. I don't know, maybe you guys know this and I don't. But is Pac-Man actually used as like a warning over there? I don't know. This is the first time I've ever seen it. They had a few other manufacturers who got in on this. There was, I think there was a Puyo Puyo that was on here as well, and a few others. There was one other SEGA title that I don't have, which is, I think it's called, which one was it? Pengo, there we go. That little penguin that like moves around ice blocks, it's a little puzzle game. But I really like how they did these like that. Like for instance, they got columns on here. So I like it that they actually went with something that can be handled by an LCD game, whereas, it's just puzzles or, stacking, that sort of thing, where it's very easy to replicate it on an LCD screen. Whereas the LCD games, like the Tiger Electronic games that we got here in the US, they were all terrible because they were always in like this isometric design, and, it was like Jurassic Park or something is a great example, where it's like in an isometric design, you're running from dinosaurs or something, you're dodging dinosaurs, I don't know what the hell is going on. You can never figure out what the hell is going on these things. Because it's almost like if they thought the LCD could have like the power of a Genesis or something, when really, it's an LCD, it's just a black and white screen with patterns on there. How much can you actually do? But you're going to find out that the Fantasy Zone version, it can do quite a bit. And but still, I just like how these ones, like Pengo and Columns, those are great examples of titles that are basic enough to where they fit on a LCD game. But anyway, so they came in this packaging right here, and that's another thing that I gotta say. There was a different version of packaging that was not made by Hashitopin. Apparently they, I guess they maybe sold off the tooling or something, I don't know. Maybe they just gave up the rights to it. But there was another company that went ahead and made these, which are exactly the exact same handhelds, but they have different games on them, and they also don't have this packaging. Instead, they kind of have like this box packaging. And so there were some other games, including another SEGA game that I saw, which was Hang On. I know that Hang On is a SEGA title, and so that is another one that got poured onto this. But to be honest, I think Hang On is a pretty dumb title to have on an LCD screen, so I just don't want to get that. But anyways, yeah, so let me go ahead and start opening this. They come in this little thing right here, which is... Oh, jeez. They come in this thing right here, which has a little card on the back. Also has a little warning right there that fits over that. I guess it's telling you how it operates or something. But, yeah, so this is Fantasy Zone. And as you could see, it's tiny. It is absolutely tiny. I'm the type of person who likes the Game Boy Micro, and this is even maybe too small to enjoy. It's absolutely ridiculously tiny. There's also a clock on it, which I could never get to set correctly. The first times I was playing it, the clock didn't even show up, but now it seems to be there to stay. And Mackie is calling for me. Rrr. Leave me alone, Mackie. Don't you talk back to me. Alright, so I really like that the Fantasy Zone, it's a cute 'em up, and so I like that they oh my god, I think he's going to do that all the entire review through. But yeah, I like that they used pink plastic because it is a cute 'em up, so I like that they're going all out on the whole Japanese cute 'em up thing. But let's go ahead and start it up. You're going to find out that it actually uses like a digitized, very, very downgraded sample of the actual Fantasy Zone tunes and everything. It's going to be very familiar. Check this out. Alright, wait. I gotta... Okay, well, as you can see, this is how it works. So you have like your little ship, Opa Opa, and you see, this is of course the demo, but you can see that you have like the bombs and then also your little laser that you can use. And so it actually is very authentic to what the arcade game was. However, the only things that stop it from being 100% authentic, and the limitations of the LCD game, is that you can only scroll to the right. This actually does scroll. As you can see, there's a little radar on the bottom, so you can see where you are and where all the enemies are. So you can only scroll to the right. You can't go. You can go back, but you cannot go back screens. So that kind of sucks, because if you miss one of the enemies and that's like the only enemy on screen, then you have to wait for it to come right back around. But I can accept that's just a limitation of the design that they have here, and but it's really cool. You can drop your bombs, you can fire your lasers and everything. Of course, one of the other big hallmarks of the Fantasy Zone series that this doesn't have is the item shop. So I'll gladly accept that they're not going to have an item shop in here. So you're not going to have special attack items or anything like that. But you're going to be amazed. Let me go ahead and start a game, and I'm going to have to go ahead and just use other footage for this because I want you guys to be able to see this. That's Fantasy Zone! Oh my god. But yeah, Mackie! Behave! There you go, got one of those enemies. And of course in Fantasy Zone, your goal is to defeat all of these larger enemies, and then the boss appears. And that is the most amazing part of this, because I would have gladly been able to, just forgive them for not having bosses in here, because it's like, it's a tiny little LCD game. What are you going to do? But no, this thing actually has boss battles. It's amazing. I'm going to try to get to the first one here. And not only that, but they're actual bosses from like the arcade game. And so this thing is just an engineering feat. But I'm going to have to show you guys some footage of it like stabilized, so that way you guys aren't getting seasick right here. But, I mean, heck, just looking through the camera viewfinder, I'm already getting seasick. But, yeah, it's just amazing that they were able to cram all this into this little LCD game. It's a little tricky because, of course, in Fantasy Zone you can use the lasers to shoot down those enemies, but in this one you can only use the bombs. And yeah, you see, I'm waiting for that one to come around. Come on, focus. Whatever. Okay, there we go. There's the enemy that finally came around. There we go. And now here's the boss. Look, that is the boss from the arcade game. Let me see if I can actually beat him. Oh, wait. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Come on. Oh, this really sucks using the viewfinder. Come on. There we go. That's so cool that it actually uses let me pause it. That's cool that it actually uses some of the sounds from Fantasy Zone. Of course, Fantasy Zone, one of the things that it's most known for is that it has like this Latin American soundtrack. It's crazy. It's one of the only games I know of that has Latin American inspired music, and they did an excellent job with it. So of course Fantasy Zone is known for that, and it's a shame that they couldn't get that, while you were playing the game. But again, it's something that I'm willing to forgive them for, like the other stuff. And one of the crazy things, though, I'm surprised that this didn't happen while I was playing it, but the sounds on this thing, for some reason, it drives Mackie crazy. When you're playing with this thing, the sounds, I guess they're hitting like some frequency that is maybe not good for pets. I don't know, but for some reason it drives Mackie crazy when I'm playing this. Like if I'm playing in a chair, he'll start jumping up, trying to grab this with his hands and everything. And so that's maybe something that I should tell you guys. If you have pets around, they might get annoyed by this for some reason. And yeah, so that's just something to keep in mind. I've never had to give that warning for a handheld, though. But another cool thing is that if it can focus in right there, when you have it on pause, focus please, it has like this little this little like teacup to show you that you're in pause mode. There we go. You see, it has that little coffee cup right underneath the little sound indicator thing. But yeah, so that's really cool. They really went all out to make this, you know, as cute as they possibly could. Let me see. One of the bad things though is that the controls are pretty terrible, you know, as expected because it's so tiny. The buttons, they sit pretty high actually, surprisingly so. So the thing about it is that, and they're plastic, they're hard plastic, they're not like that really rubbery type of button thing where it's like membrane. And so you see they're a little bit tall, and because of that it's really hard to get your thumb on there then work it that way, especially with the directional buttons. So I always find myself using the base of my thumb to press left, and then using my actual nail to press right, and then same thing goes with the top button. And then down, I just, you know, just slide my thumb down. I don't have to use my nail for that. But still, you really have to, you know, put your thumb right in there and get it just right for you to play this correctly. So that kind of sucks. On the back of the handheld, you could see this is what it looks like. It has a reset button there, actually. And that one is that rubbery membrane stuff. So why didn't they use that on the front? I don't get it. But it kind of looks a lot like a Nintendo Game & Watch almost. And as you can see there, Sega Handheld Company Limited. And the other one says that as well. I don't know about the ones that are not licensed by Sega. I mean, I'm guessing, they don't have that on there. But it's really amazing. So this one, it is recognized as something from Sega Handheld Company. So that's just amazing. But yeah, so that's Fantasy Zone. And now, let me show you Columns. And Columns is actually kind of depressing, because I think I know why it was sold for $8 and why it was, you know, as is, and plus I think the guy was in Japan, so good luck returning it. But because, as you could see from the actual plastic, you can see some white stuff there, and it's because the battery's corroded on it. Yeah, the batteries on this thing, it's brand new. It doesn't even have the pull-out tab out of there. And even when I got it, it was still taped back there, so I did have to cut the tape. They just put tape here, here, and here. And so I had to cut that up, and yeah, so it was brand new, never touched. And unfortunately, because it's never been touched or anything, the batteries just totally went bad on them. And you know what number does this have on there? Okay, this is PB908, and this is PB904. Okay, that's interesting, but still Sega Handheld Company Limited. Yeah, so that's something that I thought that we could do on here. I'm going to try to fix this. So maybe we can kind of dissect this and see if we could get it to work. Because a lot of collectors, they won't buy anything if it's corroded. And I don't blame them for that. But for me, it's not that I seek out stuff that's corroded, but sometimes I'll get something that does have a little bit of corrosion on it, and I know that it's not terminal. It's not fatal to the device sometimes. So sometimes you can go ahead and resurrect them, and that's what we're going to try to do with this. We're going to see if we could get this to work, because I've never played Columns on this, and let's see if we could actually do it. Now, one of the things I also noticed on here is that, as you can see, the screen orientation is different. So that's pretty cool that they have, you know, this horizontal orientation for landscape orientation for Fantasy Zone, and then for Columns, it's in the more appropriate portrait mode. And another thing I forgot to show you on Fantasy Zone is that there's no real way to turn it off because it has that clock on there. But as you saw, you can hit power, then that pauses it. And you can also hit sound, and that turns sound on and off. But, and also I think I forgot to mention, those bosses, I think it only has 3 bosses. I can only get up to the 3rd boss, but he always kills me. But, yeah, so I've only seen 3 bosses on it, and I think there is only 3 bosses. Somebody might be able to correct me on that, though. Anyways, the way that you turn it off is it has to be in pause mode, and then you hold down power to unpause it, and then you just hold it like that, and then it will shut off. So that's kind of weird. It won't do it if you are just holding it like that during gameplay. You actually have to have it in pause mode and then hold it to turn it off. But getting back to this though, let's see if we can open this up and then maybe resurrect this stupid thing. Let's see. Alrighty, here are the tools of my trade. Fresh batteries, a pencil, which I will explain later, and then a set of screwdrivers right here. So, let's see if we can take this apart and see what's going on here. Alright. This little battery cover, it is very, very reminiscent of the Nintendo Game & Watch. And as you can see, that's really nasty in there. Oh my god. Let's take out this tab already. Ew. That came out with a really worrying crunch. Alright. Take out... Ugh. Even the bottom of this battery. They both went bad. Jeez. Sometimes you only see one that goes bad. Let's see if we can get this battery out. And I'm not claiming to be an expert. This isn't the expert way of... Oh my god. See, ugh. It's even rusted on the bottom. God, that's nasty. I'm not claiming to be an expert. Maybe this isn't the best way to do this, and so maybe some people are going to correct me. Oh, you're doing it wrong. Oh my god, you're supposed to use alcohol and all this other stuff. No, I would say do not use alcohol because, again, I'm not an expert, but from what I've been told, alcohol, even if you use it like on an NES cartridge, which I am guilty of doing here and there, if you use alcohol, that can actually make the corrosion worse. Because, of course, alcohol, it gets rid of the corrosion, but it also sort of damages the contacts, from what I've been told. So it's kind of like using a shotgun to kill a housefly. But anyways, that is why I have this pencil right here. Because one of the best ways to get rid of corrosion, any sort of battery corrosion or anything like that, is with a pencil eraser. So let me see if I could get any... Is there any big corrosion in there? Let's see. And then if so, I'll get that out with a little screwdriver. You see, for some of the big corrosion, you could just get that out with... Oh! It just like made a little... Focus, please. It made like a little mound of corrosion right there. Ugh. Someone's got to do this dirty work. You see, I do anything for you guys. I am not afraid of getting my hands dirty. Yeah, I think that's... This one isn't that corroded, this part right here. But, yeah, for some of the bigger corrosion, you can use a screwdriver to get rid of that. And then, with the corrosion on the contacts, that's what's really good to use a pencil eraser for. You can even use a pencil eraser on NES, well, on cartridge game contacts. And again, that's a very gentle way of getting rid of, you know, that gunk and stuff. So, let's get rid of this. You just gotta make sure that the little rubber, you know, shavings don't get anywhere. Alright. Hopefully this will work. I hope that the corrosion didn't get into the console itself, because if so, that could wreak all kinds of havoc. But, at least from what I could tell, it seems that it hasn't. I would hope that it didn't. But one thing that did worry me is that the buttons, they seem to be a little stiff. So why did I do that? Why did I put my finger in there? The buttons seem to be a little stiff, and so that's maybe telling me that I hope the board didn't get some corrosion on it, but who knows, because that could be something that would make this fatal corrosion. Okay, well, you see. Check this out. Alright, let's look at the contacts now. Not too shabby, huh? Got rid of a lot of that corrosion. And now, let's see if we can actually get this to work. Let's try it, yeah, right now. Just like this. Somebody's probably going to be swearing to me in the comments that, oh my god, you're breaking it. No wonder it's not going to work anymore. But oh well, come on guys, hold out hope. How do I open this? Damn it. Well... Alright, now this is some really stupid packaging. Look, okay, you got these batteries right here. And I do know that, yeah, these are the batteries that will work with this. But look, okay, so this one on the right, I'm able to push it out because they have, you know, a little cross cut right there, so you can just push this out. This one, same thing, but they put a goddamn sticker on it. God, you people suck. Ugh, we're probably just going to have to cut it out of there. Look at this. I can't get it out of there. Ugh. Guys, sometimes it ain't easy. This life ain't easy. Let's see. Ah, there we go. See, God, you gotta do all this work around just to get batteries out. Ah, I hate you. I will never buy batteries from you again. Let's see. How do these go up? I think they're both positive side up, right? Or... yeah, it does say on their positive side up. So... let's see. Put these two in here. Close that cover. And let's see. Oh, look at that. I can already see that it's on. Look at that. Oh, it's already working. So now power. Cool. But wait, are the controls working? Uh-oh. Just turned off. What? Oh. Is it working at all? What? How come... huh? Okay, so you can use power to turn it off, but... I don't think it's working. Well... okay, I guess you select your gems, but... what the hell? Okay, I don't think this is working correctly. Maybe the screen isn't working. Because you see nothing's happening there on the left side. You know what, if you tilt it like that, you could see some LCD stuff, but... what? Oh, what happened? It doesn't look like it's working right. You know what? That's what I was saying. We might have to do an autopsy and see what's going on in here. And plus, it'll be fun to see how this thing works. Come on. There we go. Alright, let's just open it up already. See how bad the corrosion is, Doctor. Ah, that one looks like it might be seized. Yeah, these are really hard to remove. Which is not a good sign, because that could show that the corrosion got a lot further than I thought. Alright, I couldn't get this thing open. Those screws right there on the right, they are like super glued in there. It started stripping the heads right there, so I just decided to stop. I don't think I'm going to be able to get this open, but I think this thing is permanently screwed. I don't think that it's ever going to work correctly again. So that's kind of sad, but whatever. $8, whatever. I don't care about that much. But if you could find one of these, I would recommend getting one though. Just make sure that, of course, the batteries haven't gone bad and exploded on it. But especially with the Fantasy Zone one, that is so amazing that they were able to get it so close to the actual Fantasy Zone game. Because for all of them, like Columns, Tetris, that kind of stuff, that's easy to do on an LCD game. This is hard. This is by far one of the most impressive LCD games I've ever seen, and that's the reason that I got it. This is the first one I got. I kind of got this one just because it was cheap, of course. So if you could find one of these, I say get it. They don't come up as often as they used to. Back when I was getting them a few years ago, they used to be on eBay all the time. Nowadays, you're gonna have to stock it for a while to actually get one of these. And but the cool thing is that they have not really gone up in price. They were made like around 2008, 2009, so they're not even that old. There are still a lot of them out there in the wild. And I think they were also kind of marketed as like a little collectible item. I don't think they were really seen as something that you would give to a kid on his birthday or something. So I think that a lot of people did take care of them, and there are a lot out there in the wild to go ahead and trade and buy. And but like I said, the cool thing is that they haven't really gone up in value. And that's something very rare to see in the retro gaming, collecting market these days, because it almost seems right now like all the undiscovered gems are already being discovered. That people are finding them all over the place, and I gotta say that there have been some things that I've really collected or really latched onto, and then it turns out, you know, later down the line, other people discover them, and then now the prices are completely out of reach. But this is one that is sort of like a little tucked away area of collecting because not a lot of people know about this. Like I said, it never got outside of Japan. So when you do find them, they usually go for a fair price. So like that $40, $50 range, that is what you can expect to pay for this. Maybe you'll have to pay shipping on top of that, maybe it will be included, but kind of estimate it to be around that range. And if you get one, now is the time to get it, and I think that's a really great little handheld to get. Again, I can't believe the Sega actually licensed it out and that it came out this well. So yeah, go ahead and get one of these, but just make sure you get the right one. Don't get one like this, okay? Catch you guys later. I'll see you next time. Bye. I spoke too soon. Using my Herculean strength, I was able to get those screws out. So let's go ahead and open this. Opening it for the first time to see what that corrosion looks like up close. Get your vomit bag ready. Let's see. Alright, the back, it's not that bad, but as you can see, yeah, it kind of got to where the battery goes right there. Let's see if we can just pop this out. Or, how does this get out? Oh, wait, it's got little tiny screws right there. Let me see if I could get it out with this screwdriver. Alright, so here's what the motherboard looks like, and my suspicion was correct. As you can see, the 4 directional buttons are completely corroded over. It's this really nasty blue corrosion. That is just disgusting. And, yeah, and also I think the buck stops here because, I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me see if we can focus in. But on the bottom here, especially towards the left, I think you can see it right there in the light. On the bottom left, it looks like wet paper, especially on the left-hand side. And that is a little friend that we call Mr. Screen Rot. And Mr. Screen Rot makes this defect completely fatal. So yeah, this thing is never going to work again. And you can see there's already corrosion right there on the left-hand side there. Everything basically has been corroded on this. And yeah, so right there, that was the ground that was corroded on the left-hand side. The 3-volt in is actually very clean. And but yeah, this thing has just been infested with way too much corrosion to ever work again. And I'm not really that sad because, like I said, I mean, it was just one that I bought on a whim, you know, just because it was cheap. And also it's columns, and I mean, it's like boo-hoo, we're not going to be able to play frickin' columns. I hate Tetris, and I hate columns even more. So I am not affected by this at all. It's actually cool that we're able to take one apart. And as you can see, this is how the buttons work. That's the other cool thing that we got to see. It's actually a little plastic hat that sits on top of the rubber membrane. So you see the hat goes on there, and that's how the buttons work. So they actually do have a little rubber membrane thing right there. I wish they had only gone with that and just made those soft, squishy, nice little buttons right there. But nope, so that's where the buck stops. This thing is completely unrepairable, but I don't really care. Another thing, and we learned an important tip during this, do not trust the batteries that come in this thing. Because I was even thinking, you know what, while the batteries aren't ever going to be in this thing now because this thing isn't going to work, I'll go ahead and put the new batteries in this. So I did that, and I saw that the old batteries, one of them is already starting to corrode. So yeah, one of them is already about to kill the other console. And of all this, I would much rather the button corrosion issue affect this one rather than this, because this is the pick of the litter. That's the one that you want. So the batteries are not to be trusted in this thing, and they're not even any special brand. They're just button cell batteries, so they're not even any brand that you need to watch out for. But yeah, in that case, like I said, these things were collectible. They were things that people, you know, just put in their collection, put it on a shelf, and never touched them. So I would say actually be careful and maybe get one that has been out of its box and has been played with, because those button batteries are not to be trusted. Do not trust them at all. Even when you get one, I would say first thing you should do, take those batteries out. Maybe only put batteries in when you're going to play it, and that's it. I think that's what I'm going to do because I really don't want to lose this one. So just be very careful with that. And one last thing, a little comparison for the size. Here's a business card. And as you can see, this thing is scary how tiny it is. Look at this. You've got side right there, room right there on the top and the sides. And just one last little display to show you guys just how tiny it is. It is just a little over 7 centimeters long, and tall it is 4.5. So yeah, it is just so tiny. It's really cool, and also has this little loop right here, so you could put on a keychain or something. But yeah, I don't think this is going to be on anyone's keychain. This is a collectible. But this is really cool. Again, this is the pick of the litter. I hope you guys can find one if you're interested. Like I said, the prices have been pretty stable. They have not blown up, and I hope this review doesn't alter that. But yeah, I hope you guys can get one of these because this thing is really fun. It's really amazing to see Fantasy Zone, a demake of Fantasy Zone, compressed into this. Oh my god, I just wish it had all the music. But what are you going to do? Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.